What's up, 10 Scale Squad? In the last video, I tried to make the ultimate Arrma granite, and you guys let me have it in the comments. You said, yo, there's already an ultimate granite. It's called the Big Rock. You should get one. So I did the only logical thing you can do, and I got one. Arrma Big Rock, and in this video I'm going to go over everything that I like about this truck, why you should get one of these instead of trying to build an Arrma granite. We're going to do a speed run on it and see just how fast this thing goes, and of course we're going to give it a 10 scale score. Let's do it. Alright guys, here it is, Arrma Big Rock. Now this is actually the same width and length as my Grafen cast, except this is actually built by Arrma to handle the power and be durable, and it's got reasonable size wheels and tires on it, and this thing is a performer. I've had this thing about a week now. I've put lots of batteries through it. I have beaten it hard, and I love it. It hasn't missed a beat, and yeah, it's awesome. I really like this matte black paint job. I thought it was gonna be kind of difficult to maintain, but you know, I think it's easier than even just a glossy paint job. The wheels and tires feel super nice. They're real grippy on asphalt, they're grippy in stones, they're grippy in grass and dirt. I think these might be my favorite Arrma wheels and tires so far. This comes with the new Spectrum SLT3 transmitter. Huge improvement over the last generation. What were those called? The STX2s, is that what those were called? Those weren't very good. Maybe average for a ready to run. Definitely not the best for a brushless system by any means. This is a huge improvement. I was glad to see this. Looking under the hood, this should all look familiar to you. This does come with the IC5 connector, so kind of an oddball connector, but it's got a smart ESC, so if you have a smart battery, or if you have like a DX5 rugged or another Spectrum transmitter, you're able to see the voltage of the battery. That's a super handy feature. We've got this big chunky heat sink and fan on the motor. I've run this thing a bunch, never had any heat issues with it. Of course, we've got a brushless ESC to match. I'm not sure who the real manufacturer of these ESCs are, but you know, I've had a few of them now, haven't had any issues with it. On 3S, this thing runs nice and cool and powerful and punchy, and I love it. Horizon Hobby is now shipping Spectrum servos in their Arrma vehicles, among other vehicles as well. A huge upgrade from the plastic geared Arrma servos that came in the previous generations of these. I was really glad to see that. Of course, in typical Arrma fashion, everything is modular. It's really easy to work on. I haven't had to take this thing apart yet, but I've taken apart granites and typhons and cretons, and these things are a breeze to disassemble. We've got this nice big wide wheelie bar on the back, and this one is holding up real well. The last wheelie bar that I had on my granite, it actually, one of the wheels got bent. So when it would stand up and wheelie, it wouldn't track straight anymore because one of the wheels was cocked a little bit. But this one looks a lot sturdier, so hopefully we shouldn't have that issue anymore. And boom, there's a look at the back of it. What do you think? This thing in stealth mode, all blacked out, I think looks really cool with that matte paint job. I really dig the look of this thing. You guys were totally right. This is the ultimate Arrma granite in my opinion. We got adjustable links front and back, the standard low buck Arrma shocks. Not the greatest shocks, but you know, when you're going out and hammering on stuff, cheaper is better, because shocks and things like that, you're gonna break those. So I'd rather see a cheaper solution. And these shocks, you know, they work fine for what they are. The price to maintain it is really good value. All right, that's enough talking about it. Let's take this thing out and see how fast it goes. How fast does it go? Let's find out. Turning on my GPS there. Okay, there we go. There's max speed. We're gonna hit record. Let's do it. Out here in one of my favorite places to do speed runs. Let's do it. Whoa! And it's upside down. She was getting a little squirrely there. It's kind of hard to keep it in a straight line going that fast. But how fast do you think that was? I think that looked faster than the Grafen cast that we tested here last week. We got 47. I think there's more in it though. Let's give it another one. Whoa! Woo! Look at that, guys. 49.6. And I couldn't even really keep it held wide open that long. This thing has got 50 mile an hour in it for sure out of the box. Pretty awesome. Bashed this thing. We gave it a speed run. We looked at the outside, at the inside. The only thing left to do is give it a 10 scale score. I think this one might score the highest so far. Let's do it. First up is speed. 50 mile an hour out of the box is more than respectable for a 10 scale basher. And you'll struggle to find another RC that actually achieves the claimed speed printed on the box without installing an optional gearing. And it gets a 7 out of 10. Next is the transmitter. The SLT3 is great for an out-of-the-box RTR transmitter with all the features you want, 3 channels. It's a nice feel in the hand and a huge improvement over the previous generation. And it gets a 7 out of 10. Value is high. $320 for a large 10-scale brushless basher from a name brand that can take a beating is more than acceptable. This thing goes faster and harder than trucks with a much bigger price tag. It earns an 8 out of 10. Quality and durability is high. Nothing about this truck or transmitter feels cheap, and this thing took an absolute beating with no issues and didn't require any maintenance out of the box. Throw a lipo in it and send it off the biggest jump you can find. It gets an 8 out of 10. Parts availability is great. Most parts that you'll want are available at your local hobby shop or online. It shares its components with a number of other Arrma vehicles, so you can count on parts support for years to come at a decent price. It gets another 8 out of 10. The fun factor is right in that sweet spot. You're not afraid to go hard because chances are the Big Rock will survive pretty much anything you can throw at it. And if it does break, you can be confident that you'll be able to find the parts you need with minimal wait time or effort. I find myself willing to go full send almost all the time, and that's where we all want to be. This thing might be my new favorite basher, and it gets a solid 8 out of 10. Last, we have looks. I was a little hesitant at first, but the matte black paint is so easy to clean It means your rig will be looking factory fresh with minimal effort. A quick wipe with a damp rag brings this thing back to full stealth mode effortlessly. I can't think of any other trucks that have a matte paint job right out of the box, and it totally does it for me. Not everyone will dig the crew cab look, and the wheelie bar is a little bit large and intrusive for my taste, but overall it looks great, better than most, and it gets a 7 out of 10. Add it up, and the 10th scale score is 52 out of 70. All right, guys, there you go. You were right. You were right. Should have gotten the Big Rock instead of messing around with that granite. But spoiler alert, I've actually had that granite for a little while, and I had it when I made the granite, but that's neither here nor there. If this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome. I'm glad you found it. I like to do RC shenanigans like this all the time, and I've got some cool stuff coming up. You're gonna want to stick around. All right, 10th Scale Squad, until next time, B is for victorious. Later.